Hey, everybody, welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. I'm Christina. I'm here with my co host Rez, and Ali Krause is joining us today with some fun stories of hauntings and I don't even know what else, like a whole bunch of fun stuff. So she will be joining us for that. Before we get started, though, I'd like to remind you to subscribe, ring the bell, share. Please just help us get this out there. Thank you. I so much appreciate that. All right. Yeah. Welcome, Allie. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. What you got, Rez? I'm going to switch over to you real quick.
Oh, SSDD, my friend, SSDD, same old stuff.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
what's new and exciting on your girls' end, on you guys' end?
Ooh, quite a bit. Like,
Well, jump right in.
Right.
I I guess I'll start. But
Yeah.
a lot of paranormal stuff. I guess it goes with the territory. For those that don't know me, I'm Allie. I'm a psychic medium. My mediumship has kind of amped up in the last year or so, I'd say. It's kind of been a steady upward thing for me. And I've encountered quite a bit the last year. But
You
lately, it's
know,
been different stuff that I haven't talked about anywhere. So
so have you noticed that the more you use it, the more it starts amping up more and just kind of goes
definitely,
on from there?
definitely, it feels like a muscle, like going to the gym. If you're working out, you're gonna, beef up and
Hmm.
um, get, more from it. But I mean, I've always been like this. Like I think my first encounter was somewhere like 6, 7 years old. But I, throughout the years going through life and whatnot, it just kind of, there's a lot of times where I would like, no, or I was scared of it or wasn't really sure. But, it comes to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I just embraced it and here we are.
It
Like,
really does get to that point,
Yeah,
doesn't it, where you just can't ignore it anymore, so you might as well embrace it.
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
When you walk into a place like I worked in the music industry extensively throughout the last decade and been on tour and stuff and walking into some places where I'm like, I cannot be in here, like, or it was like really negative or, seeing stuff everywhere and it's distracting me while I'm trying to sell t-shirts or something, like it's,
Right.
it come now I'm to a point where people know that I'm like this. So it makes it a little bit easier, but, um, yeah, without learning about your switch and how to turn that off or at least, control it a little bit,
Hmm.
it gets, it's scary to be honest. Like
It
it's,
can be. Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
And let's talk about venues, right? So music venues, theaters, schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and even empty malls. You know?
mm-hmm.
just the
Mm-hmm.
energy itself that's left
Oh, man.
behind.
Yeah, it's all places where there's chaotic energy.
Yeah,
And,
a lot of
you know,
it.
yeah. So I can see where spirit energy would be drawn to a place where there's chaos because
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
energy and they're feeding off of it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, lately I actually, in Beloit, Wisconsin, I was at this place called the Castle, and I actually went there to talk business about music and bringing bands and like I do the vendor fairs and stuff like that, and then I incorporate paranormal. But it was like a legit business meeting, and we're going through the castle, and I'm seeing like this guy. He was presenting himself as a priest because there's also a church in that area in there,
Hmm.
and um, also underneath every windowsill there is a name and a plaque written on the same exact date these people have passed, and it just says in loving memory of these people. So I'm still not sure what that's about. Nobody really knows what that's about, but I didn't know that at the time. Anyways, like I saw this entity and I was like so distracted by it, and it was causing so much. I mean, it was causing lights. You could see like a light going off. You could see you could feel it palpably. You didn't have to be psychic to feel that. And one of the people I was with actually said something because I was staring straight at him. I'm like, don't, not right now. This is not why I'm here. And
Right.
and then
Oh, they
finally
don't listen.
I'm like, there's a guy right there. It seems like he owns a place. Like he's got a chamber upstairs that he's like, don't ever go up there. Leave me alone. He was kind of cranky old manish. And it turned into, of course I had equipment in my car. So I, pulled out a spirit box and I pulled out the EMF and had a full conversation with the guy. And there was two other ladies. So this opened up conversation about doing an actual, investigation. So I led a few and I did that. And then I led an investigation through there with, the public. And we did like heavy hors d'oeuvres. It was called the Spirited Candlelight Tour. And it was incredible the way this went. Like it took me, I had to convince the guy, the spirit, the man, who wasn't a priest. He was just presenting himself that way. And I had to like really try to like, please let me go up in that room because I would sit in this like doorway and I would have everybody sit around me. And that's where I'd get the most communication on the spirit box. But I'm like, I want to go upstairs really bad. So I had to go up there. I got, when I did the pleading, without people there, just because I don't want anybody to get hurt. And, I got a tiny bit attacked when I went up there. And I had to like reason with him. And it was crazy because I'm having this full conversation with the spirit in a spirit box. And he's like, schedule. And I'm like, what do you mean schedule? He's like, I want a schedule. So I had to post a schedule of when we were going to have people going through there on the wall upstairs. And then, I promised like 5 minutes and then we'll go, explore other places in the castle because the place is huge. It's like a literal casserole. And so we get up there and, like this is with a bunch of people and I have all equipment because I had Raven Paranormal with me, Raven's Wing. And so they bust out all the equipment. We put it in there. I'm like, we got 5 minutes, I promised. And nothing was happening, but I could feel somebody came in the room and I'm like, okay. And someone said, how about we will leave if you set any one of these things off? Every single one of the equipment went off, every single one. So I'm
Well,
like,
that's
okay.
a get the hell out of my room if I ever heard one.
For real.
Okay, well, fair enough. So we did. We packed it up and left. But that place is pretty cool. They do weddings and they're a venue. They do music. They have room multiple stages. But and then I had being a psychic, as you know, Christina, I'm sure like you guys know that it's heavy at times. And so there was that, that was more fun and silly. But my mother is the medical examiner in Dane County, and I was helping her on a missing persons case. I'm not going to say the name for privacy reasons, but
Yep.
and it presumed dead. Like these people are presumed dead, and he was found, and that got pretty heavy. So I needed to kind of leave after that, like leave the city. And I'm from the Northwoods in Wisconsin. I'm from Rhinelander. So I came up here and I'm staying up here for a while, just to kind of regroup. But while I'm up here, I'm also having a lot of experiences that led me to a school. There is a place in Elton, Wisconsin. There's a little shop, the Elton Mall it's called, and the owners are in charge of this old school that they've experienced stuff in. So I'm like, ooh, let me investigate it. And that got a lot too. I got quite a bit out of there. I took a couple people with me and got a lot on the spirit box, like talked to a couple children, talked to a couple people, learned that they like music a lot. So we played music and I could feel them dancing around me. It was really cool. So yeah, that's just kind of like the beginning of coming up north again. I mean, this is a very haunted place. Wisconsin itself is very haunted, but I feel like the Northwoods is, you got your Native American spirits up here who are, the most spiritual in my eyes, especially in the afterlife, people that exist. And a lot of manifestations of animals, to human, that kind of thing that I've seen. And then, yeah, I've had they, as you know, they attract me. So one place I was staying, because I just recently moved, my microwave. Every time I came in the camper, it would be like beep, and then nines all over the microwave. And learned that they're pretty political, I guess, because right around the time of election time, um, I asked what they were doing. Well, first I put a red or yellow guitar pick up and asked what color it was, and yellow. Okay, so we're talking. And then I said, "What are you doing right now?" And they said, "Kamala Harris." I'm like, okay,
Well,
like you're wondering, okay, like she didn't win, but you know. And then I said, "Who was opposing, Kamala Harris?" Trump. So that was an interesting conversation. And then just a bunch of nines forever. I swear. It was like, yeah, a couple weeks of just nines on the microwave.
Well, if we're looking at numerology, 9 is an ending.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's interesting because that could be interpreted a lot of different ways.
I
yeah.
know. And that is still in my head, like what's happening.
Hmm.
But
Well,
so they
with
moved.
every ending, you get a new beginning.
This is
Right.
true. And I do
So
feel
you are starting a new chapter in your life right now by moving back up to the Northwoods.
I am. And, like I got like the gypsy blood in me. So being able to move around, going on tour, like I would love to take the psychic stuff on the road, Um, and that's kind of in my view as far as what I'm planning in the future once I get established and can make that happen.
Hmm.
Um, but
I feel you on that.
yeah, I
Totally.
would like to be on the road.
I do a
If I could
lot of that.
travel, if I could travel full time, investigate, and be able to support my family, I'd
Hmm.
be gone. I'd never be home.
I mean, I would
You
like to
know.
investigate, but also do like pop-up psychic readings because I
Yep.
do tarot readings and stuff. So it's a big plan that's taking a lot. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be able to.
I've been doing
I,
that on and off for the last 15 years or so.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
it seems like it's up my alley, if you will.
Hmm.
But yeah, but yeah, that's my long-term goal. That I'm hoping I can manifest in the next year or so. We'll
Cool.
see. But sometimes you just gotta go home, and I got that feeling like I just wanted to go back up north, and so that's what I'm doing right now.
So I have some questions about because of what I've experienced up north. I still go up there pretty frequently. I was just in the Minocqua Hazelhurst area last month, and do you notice like there's a lot of spirits out wandering around in the woods?
Oh God,
Like,
yes.
Hmm.
like,
The
and,
Yeah.
and
woods
it's not just cryptids and it's not just natives. It's, there are footpaths that are followed. I don't know. There's probably been, I think it's 3 different houses in northern
yeah,
Wisconsin and the UP where I have just had to move the footpath to go around somebody's house because people kept walking through their house.
they're literally everywhere up here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
they are.
yet
Absolutely.
plain. I don't know why. I have to
I
imagine
have a
that.
theory on that.
Okay.
You know. Um. So, prime example, someone like me. I'm the most comfortable at home, at ease when I'm out in the woods.
Hmm.
There's
Mhm.
millions of people like that out there. Now you have
Same.
all the people from the cities that go out into the woods for hunting or for whatever they do all year long. That's where they find their peace. So if they're not crossing over and they're looking for somewhere that they found peace on this planet, they're going to go where they enjoyed it the most.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of them are out in the woods because that's where they found their peace and serenity.
Right.
Now, if you
Yeah.
had someone that found their peace and serenity in a strip club, that's where they're going to that's where they're going to be hanging out.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
where they were the most
Right.
comfortable.
I mean,
Well, I
honestly,
agree with that. Yeah. Go ahead,
yeah,
Allie.
yeah, that would be me. Like,
Yeah,
um, and it's just interesting because like once I get to a threshold, like like beyond the Wassa area, I start to feel home. I start to feel like, okay, this is where I'm from, and that's where my peace comes in. Like seeing the trees, seeing the you know the land and where I grew up, where I saw my first entities, like all these things that
Hmm.
where I, became who I am. And yeah, so I totally get that. That would be me as well.
Right.
But and it's like a comforting blanket. I mean, it's not easy being up here, living in a camper, but in the same breath, it's like love it. Like
Yeah.
I I want to be here. Um
I
I
can
need to be.
completely relate to that. I can
Yeah.
completely relate to that. Yeah. Every
Yeah.
chance I get, I am up there.
Yeah. Well,
And
and I
I,
guess
yeah.
yeah. I've been a little recluse, like I haven't been even online much, which is weird for me because usually I'm online like constantly, but um it's also needed, I guess,
Mhm.
just I'm in a soul cleansing shift, like I'm shifting gears and it's needed, I'm
Yeah.
happy.
And thank you for honoring that because a lot of people need to do that and make all
Yeah.
kinds of excuses not to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to add to Rez's theory about why the woods are so haunted. And I think it goes back way back before tourism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
think that, there's trappers, there's natives, there's all kinds of people for hundreds of thousands of years probably that
Yeah.
are very comfortable there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, I find a lot of interdimensional shifts in the woods where I can
Yeah.
walk from one dimension into another and
Mm-hmm.
I completely meet different people in every different dimension. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's that too.
Yeah.
And
And I'm
add
what?
in the fact that you get all the energy from all the living plants out
Mm-hmm.
there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's plenty of energy source to draw from.
And the
Yeah. And
animals.
child all
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Oh, animals. Yeah. But no, I'm finding it, even with all the energy and the entities around, which is a lot. And
Hmm.
I've had to remove one that it felt like a manifestation of fear. It was just like a ball of fear and it wasn't doing anything or anyone any good. So I sent it away. But since then things have been very peaceful. And I do have an entity that kind of hangs out with me, Jeremy. And yeah, there's others too. Like there's a lot of protective spirits around, like this is my land, asking a lot of questions, which I answer. And I'm like, thank you for letting me be here. I'm here for a little while. I'm psychic medium, which sometimes like causes the wrong reaction on that side. Like, oh God. And then it gets excited, to communicate. But um, yeah, I feel like I've come back to myself a little bit more, like I'm soothing a part of me that needed it. The
Hmm.
city gets kind of
Yep.
loud and noisy and chaotic. So
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm here.
The
I
city
grew
gets,
up in the
yeah.
city. I can't stand it. I no, I prefer to be out here in the woods myself.
And
Yeah.
it's not just the physical noise, it's the energetic noise because think about all of
Hmm.
those people crammed into that small area. That's a
Mhm.
lot of energy, and most people don't know that they're giving off and receiving energy, right? So it's
Yeah.
Right.
like this constant chaotic energy exchange.
And I take
It's
offense to it.
overwhelming. Yeah, yeah. It's
So
overwhelming. I totally get it. Like I will go up north every chance I get.
yeah. But yeah, since the opportunity presented itself and I'm up here and I'm kind of feeling stuff out. I'm looking at paranormal teams too,
Hmm.
lightly. It's because I want to investigate more, especially like wooded areas and outdoor areas. Some of my own stomping grounds, which around Minocqua, there's a few around Rhinelander and Sugar Camp where I know that
Hmm.
there's some mounds,
Yeah.
which those can get crazy. I remember growing up, we had a place in Sugar Camp, and there was, the Indian mounds in the backyard, like literally in our land. We
Right.
couldn't do anything with them. They were owned by the government, but um, I would walk back there a lot. And my mom, who's also very intuitive and an energy worker, she would go back there sometimes by herself too. And like we couldn't go back there unarmed because there's all kinds of stuff, especially. during the migration period, we'll get wolves that come through there, which
Mhm.
my mom encountered, looked at her in the face, and now she's like, I don't know if it was real or not. Or I'm like, what do you mean by real? And she's like if it was a spirit or not, because this wolf looked right at me, looked away, and walked away. I'm like, it was probably a spirit, mom, because a wolf would, probably
Not
launch at you.
necessarily.
Not
No, I don't
necessarily.
know.
No.
He said it was quite
Yeah.
a moment. I wish I was there for that one. But my experience was walking out by the mounds. I loved walking out by the mounds. And it was a beautiful, like clear day. It was cold, but there was this cloud, this black cloud that was just hovering. And it was like, it came down almost to like eye level and was just like floating there right over the mounds, like right at me. I'm like, what? I was like, that's cool, you know?
Right.
And I just like said, you know, thank you for that. And I mean, no harm. I'm just here passing by and kind of walked away from it. But that was incredible. I was pretty, I was teenager-ish, I think, when that happened. But yeah. And then like the UP, up in like the Paulding area, of course, there's the
I
Paulding
was
Light,
going
but
to
there's
ask you if you've been to the Paulding Light.
oh, geez, about 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
a rite of passage, isn't it? When you
yeah,
live up there.
it's an interesting
Never
one.
been
Like the
there.
light itself is interesting, but there's that little river that kind of goes through,
Hmm.
like when you park on top and there's like this little stream thing. One time I was out there and I could hear like almost a radio, like a lot of conversation. It sounded like a radio, and the closer I put my ear to the water, the louder it got.
Hmm.
There's a grand piano broken down in the woods out there, which is weird. Um,
That I did not see.
yeah, that's pretty far out, but yeah, that's an interesting one. But then there's Robbins Pond, which is probably my favorite. It's right there. Like if you go down that other road, where there is a lady you can watch walk across the water, and you have to catch her at the right time. And I was able to see that. I was like, whoa, okay, that's cool. Um, but I mean, that land up there, I like going up to the Bond Falls, the campground,
Hmm.
and because you can like park up there and pretty much on your private lake, um, and there is like I constantly see stuff walking around, and it's just like everywhere, like
Yeah,
everywhere up here. I guess sometimes I prefer that energy over, people and like that.
right. I
Yeah, but
agree. I agree. I've got three good friends in the UP that all live in like different places in the
yeah,
UP. And every single one of them have their own version of some sort of spirit energy going on.
yeah. There's a lot up there.
Every single one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm connecting more with Bigfoot energy in the last
Ooh,
year. And
okay.
so I was where what it was outside of man, I was just there too, not too long ago. Cable, outside of Cable, Wisconsin, there is I think it's a national forest. It might be a state forest, but I was driving on this road. I turned off intentionally to go look for Bigfoot, right? So, of course, I go out there completely by myself. No thinking involved in that. But when I was on this forestry road, and I think I was about a mile in. And all of a sudden, I heard a voice, like a big booming voice, was like, "You need to leave. You're not safe here." And I
Mm.
went, like, who said that, right?
Yeah.
But it was mind
Interesting.
speak. It was mind speak. And I'm
Right.
like, okay. I mean, I don't question that. I grew up outside of Lac du Flambeau, actually. So when I hear a voice that says, "Get the hell out," I get the hell out. That's the way that works. And so I was doing like a Y turn to turn my car around because it was a one lane dirt road, you know? And apparently I was taking too long and my car was just swarmed with thousands of those little biting deer flies.
Oof.
Like my car was just swarmed with, I'm like, I'm leaving already. All right.
Right.
Like we told you to
Oh,
leave. What are you still doing here?
yeah.
I'm turning my car around. But yeah, it was like, I mean, those flies probably could have killed me.
Yeah.
If
No,
you got that many biting you, that could be really bad.
uh,
But
horse
uh,
flies, I think you're talking about.
The horse,
right?
they were like deer flies. They're kind of goldish colored, like in
Okay.
yeah,
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 just a
those.
smaller version of a
a
horsefly.
smaller version of a horsefly, but they are nasty. And
Yeah,
so I beat feet out of there, but I really feel like it was a protective thing for me. Like, go,
probably.
you're not safe
Definitely.
here. Go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in the UP, I remember going to a beach one time. Actually, Bond Falls, they have a beach
Hmm.
there. That's where it was. And they were those, I couldn't even be on the beach. They would, like, they hurt. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
hurt. I guess the only Bigfoot story actually is from up north. It's not my own. I haven't gotten too far down that rabbit hole yet, but I think that I might.
I was
That's
kind of
interesting.
knocked over the head and dragged down that rabbit.
It happened.
Yeah. I joined a team and I
Um,
kind of got sucked into it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No,
continue with your Bigfoot story, Allie.
my mom's ex-husband, um, his dad was, and he's very soft-spoken. Like you can tell he wouldn't just like he doesn't just make stuff up. He doesn't do that. Like he's genuine, 100% believed him. But he lived in McNaughton. You know where that
Hmm.
is?
I know exactly where that is. Yeah.
Okay. So his story was, and they lived out there for ever. Like this, I think he still lives out there. He he was chopping wood because they had a wood burning furnace, and that's how they had their heat. And he was out in the woods, and they would like shoot guns and stuff, and target practice and whatnot. So there was like this area, and he was chopping wood, and he said that he saw Bigfoot like completely walk right past, look at him, and he said it smelled so bad he could smell it from. I mean, it was pretty far away, and it just kind of looked at him for a second and then looked away and walked off again, like just let him be. And he's like, I never, like this is gospel truth. And I'm like, okay, whoa, like,
Yeah.
um, and then finding out like he's not the only one who's seen him around that area. And I totally believe him. Like,
Mhm.
even on a psychic level, it's like this guy is telling the absolute truth. He's like, he was really big, like 7 feet, not more,
Hmm.
hairy, the whole 9 yards. And
Yeah.
so that's intriguing. And that story keeps popping up in my head, when I'm up here, because, going, I get whimsical and I'm like, oh, let's go play around in the woods. And I'm like, oh shit, I need a gun or something. Sorry.
I've
There's stuff
never
out.
been one to walk in the woods with a gun.
Me either.
I'm not, I don't
Me
love
either.
guns. So it's, um,
I
but
don't, it doesn't even occur to me first of all, if I had one, take it with me. It just doesn't even occur to me when I'm out walking in the woods. I just somehow know I'm protected.
yeah, I get that, but then sometimes I'm like, oof, like
Yeah.
I'm really alone right now. And my mind plays tricks on me, but I think that'll wear off.
Yeah. Well, part of
Just
that too might still be PTSD from living in the city.
yeah, there's that.
You
And I'm kind of still blowing off steam in that way for sure.
Right.
So it'll
Right.
come.
I know when I moved out of a city, and I live in a suburban area now, but which is still way more populated than I want to deal with. But I know after I moved out of like the Chicago area, I was pretty jumpy for a couple of years,
I'm still, yeah, I'm
you
jumpy.
know?
And it's only been, a couple months, so I
Yeah,
yeah, it's a transition for sure, but I think I'm in the right
absolutely.
place. Yeah.
I had a friend who used to say, "Don't have to worry about the ghosts. It's the live ones that'll get you."
Yep.
Yes, there's that.
There's
There's a lot
that.
with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah. So finding my peace and, rekindling relationships with entities that feel familiar, I guess.
Hmm.
Like they don't, it feels like, oh, okay, I've felt this before,
Hmm.
not foreign, but it's been a while.
Okay, I got a question for you. With being from Rylander, and you said you
Mhm.
just kind of dipped your toe into the Bigfoot fucking hole. Whoops, sorry about the language there. Uh, have you ever done anything with the hodag?
Oh, geez. The whole that one I'm on the fence about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, some people swear it's real. Some people are like, it was a guy who put up this thing to scare off kids from his land, but
That would
um,
work. That would
it
do it.
was, like I'm not, I haven't like forged my senses into that area because, you know, I don't know what's true yet,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I've seen stuff in the woods that, you know, I guess kind of could have been a shadowy image of it, but um, I used to have tea parties with entities in the woods a lot. Um, I remember that. Like we would make mud pies, and I was totally like my memories. It's like I was with my friends basically, but they were not living. I swear every house I lived in has been haunted, so I don't know if it's me or
Me too.
Me too.
um
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
When you're
that's the
sensitive
question.
to it, you get to feel them when they're
Yeah.
around.
Well, I have a
and yeah,
theory, I have a theory that there is probably not one square inch of this earth that something hasn't died on.
exactly.
Very true.
Yeah. That's how I feel too, because I've seen stuff in Walmart before too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Me too.
Like,
And they're not all wearing pajamas, so,
no, they're not. But and one of which where it's like I had a double take. It's like, like I looked and I'm like, okay, you're only like half a person, basically. I could only see the top half from like waist up. Just shopping, like taking
Right.
stuff, putting it back. I'm like, okay. Um, all right, this is not where I would choose to be, but so I don't know if it's always a choice either, but yeah, from what I gathered, everything's haunted, and I
hmm
say that a lot. Some
I agree.
places more than others, but
Yeah.
and being in that realm, in different realms so often, I felt like it's more comfortable than the one I'm physically living in a lot of times, like, or I'm on a mission or something, or like I'm doing something. I'm busy, like I'm busy in other realms. So, and it's hard when, you got a lot of chatter in the city and all this stuff around and these people needing stuff constantly. And to tune into that, then you kind of have to snap back. And then I get overwhelmed, like really overwhelmed to a point where people are like, what is the matter with you? Like, no one's even asking that much. It's like, you don't understand. Like, there's, I don't know how to explain it.
Cumulative. It's cumulative stress. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels good to be in the old stomping grounds for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think, when am I going to be up there again? I don't know. I'm going to be in the Adirondack Mountains for 2 weeks. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Cool.
I'm just down the road.
I know.
Yeah, we'll find out that Bobby's like 20 minutes away from you, so we gotta go out and investigate
Yeah,
something.
There you go.
definitely. I'll get out any chance I can get out and investigate. I'm always down for it.
Yeah, I need to get out again too and formally do that. And then in spring, I'm gonna go back to that school, so it'd be cool to pull you on there and just kind of see what you think. It's a cool
Definitely.
school. It's just it doesn't have heat right now, so they're not really doing stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, there's a lot of places I'm excited to explore.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know
But
what it is with this show, but I get on this show and somebody starts tickling my nose every single time.
Yeah.
Every time.
I usually get the itches. And as soon as we get on, whether it's in the arm or on the cheek.
they know
Every
when we're
time
talking.
somebody tickles my nose, every single
Yep.
time, but it's on this particular show.
Well, it's funny because I'm at a friend's house now actually. The guy I'm seeing's mother lives in a place where a lady, Lisa, passed away in her bathtub at 24 years old. And she makes herself known. Like she will move stuff around, but I can feel her kind of like, what you talking about? When we're talking about you, Lisa. But uh, especially like being alone in the bathroom, you can feel her, like
Dark
she,
haired and petite.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I sense she's watching me right now, but or listening. She heard her name.
Yeah.
But when you
It's
say,
all about me.
yep,
All about me is what I'm picking up.
yeah.
Well,
But
there you go.
yeah. So hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice to meet you, Lisa.
If there's anything you'd like to say to us, Lisa, it may just show up on our recording.
It
Yeah.
could. I schooled her on all that, and so yeah, we'll see if anything comes up, girl.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
Be
she's around.
interesting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've kind of like catched up with anybody about what I'm experiencing lately, and
You got to do that once in a while.
I know, just kind of like in different realms. Like, where's Allie? You know,
Right?
I'm
I can
busy.
relate to that. I am in and out of different realms 24/7.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
asleep, sometimes not asleep, but I'm in and out of realms all the time. I get it.
Yeah. It's almost like I have to monitor it sometimes, you know. It's like I do need to be here, but there are a lot of times it's like I'll go days without connecting with anybody, you know. Um, except for, you know, dead people.
Yeah. I
Yep.
was just picking something up while you were talking, and it sounds like somebody was talking in the background behind you.
Yeah, she's in the room. Lisa.
We
Say
got
something.
her attention now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. She's active. She drifts. She doesn't have to stay. I don't know if we haven't really talked about if she leaves like outside or not, but it seems like she goes around because it's an apartment building. So, do
I feel
you go?
she goes around the property.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think she can go outside.
Yep,
Um,
hangs on the property, visits everyone in the building,
mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
just floats around, does her thing,
Yep.
likes to people watch.
She does. She likes to get involved in stuff too, you know. But there's times where it's like, okay, Lisa, if I'm here, sometimes I'll stay for a few days and I'm gonna take a shower. Can you like not?
I don't need you to join me. We're good.
No, and she's nice about it. Oh, I just felt her tap me. No, she's
She's offering
actually
to wash your back for you.
it's like I'm good. It's okay. But yeah, she's a nice lady.
Awesome.
Mm.
I'm hoping you can pick something up when you listen to it back. You'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
Well,
I keep
we'll be.
hearing something, and I think normally I would call it feedback, but it's not like a repetition of what any of us are saying. It's a little bit different. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I can feel her. I can feel her looking over my shoulder or something at you right now. So, yeah, that's
Hi.
Christina.
Hi,
Say hi.
Lisa.
That's Bobby.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he's around.
That's
But
cool. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's an interesting life.
Yeah, it really is. It really is when you're tuned into, multiple dimensions, however that works for you.
Yeah.
Definitely
Scary.
interesting.
Sometimes scary, sometimes loud. Um, and sometimes I feel like the other night I was um my cat ball went off. Like I have one set up in my room and it's, as you know, you have to really try to set that thing off. And it just went off randomly. So I turned my EMF on and spirit box and was having a chat and I felt like so many energies all at once. I'm like, okay, I literally feel like I am stuck in a corner of a very crowded room right now. And I had to ask him, like, can you back off a little bit? Because this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, like it was cool. Sometimes you get the one that's pushy and not the nicest, but um yeah,
You gotta set boundaries in personal space.
definitely. I usually don't let them in my house, but for some reason I did that day.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Or I try not to let them in my house. You don't always listen.
Right.
but yeah, it's been a lot, and my gifts seem to be growing, which is good, good and scary. I've felt lately like I'm on the precipice of something new, like new beginnings, the nines, um, possibly like an upgrade or some sort of something in my abilities. So I'm just really tuned into that right now. And I guess we'll see what happens the next month or so. It's coming.
Awesome.
She can. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby,
Yeah,
were
the
you going
more
to
you
say
work,
something?
I
Go
was just
ahead.
saying, the more you work with it, the more in tune you
Yeah.
will be with it, and
Yeah.
just be another tool in your tool bag for when you go out and do things.
Yeah. I'm interested in what's happening. I think automatic writing is the last thing that's kind of popped up. So I want to work a little bit more with that and see what that gets me. It's been pretty accurate. So it's also scary in a way where I don't have like all the control there, like I'm
Hmm.
not, it's kind of like a letting go thing. And I get like worried and, like I need to get past some of these worries too. And that's another thing. It's that anxiety. And I do think that is like a city thing.
I think so
So
too.
as I'm working through that, like my ability to let go and allow this to happen is it's getting stronger. But the automatic writing thing, I feel like I'm not completely like I'm kind of like free falling for a second. You know what I mean? Like there's no protection.
Yeah.
and and then I
Hmm.
write stuff down and it's, come back with information about the area or, people or those that pass, but it's still scares me a little bit, but I plan on working through that fear and doing more with that because it feels like something that the universe wants me to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that'll
I'm
happen
just
in the next.
listening to the other voice. Like, I'm listening to you, but I'm also listening to the other voices coming through that apparently you guys can't hear.
I
I
can
hear,
kind of hear Lisa a little bit, but I can
Okay.
hear a woman.
yeah, I kind of hear like what would you consider feedback almost, but
Mhm.
it's more digitalized than anything. So it's only
Oh,
bits
I
and
heard
pieces
that.
I'm hearing.
I heard that. I just heard a man.
Oh yeah, that's my front door.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm not hearing her. I can faintly hear her. Sometimes she's talking to somebody else, and I don't know who's with her, but I've picked that up before too.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's always some around me, I swear.
Yeah.
right.
Well,
We're
and that
surrounded
that
by them
makes
either way.
three of us that are constantly surrounded by them. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we could be hearing voices from any one of the three of us.
Yeah.
they all could be communicating with each other. All of our groups.
Yep.
I hope
Interesting.
so, because if that's the case, this is going into audition and I will isolate it.
That would be so neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Let
be
me
cool.
know.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
will. I
If that's
will.
a thing, I want to get on the Zoom with more psychics more often and see what happens.
There
That'd
you
be fun.
go. That's cool. Well, Allie, are
Yeah,
you offering any readings or services or anything you want to tell people about?
I am. I'm looking for a spot up here to do readings. I did a psychic gallery not too long ago, which was pretty cool. So if anybody's in this area, that I can come to the house and you can bring a few friends and I can do, a gallery for you or individual readings. I am doing virtual readings. They are still as accurate as my in-person readings. You can get a hold of me on Facebook, Ali Krause or Ali K Psychic Medium, Instagram, Ali K Music Madison, and Twitter, or no, not Twitter, TikTok, Ali K Promotions. So a
Awesome.
couple different, yeah, but if you look up Ali K just into Google, I'm probably going to pop up there. And, reach out. I can do virtual readings. And if you're not super far away, I can come and do readings by you. until I can
Excellent.
find it. Yeah.
Rez, what about you? Are
Same
you
old stuff
offering?
over here.
Same
Um,
stuff.
yeah, I haven't really done much out in the public lately. I know there'll be a few events you can catch me at this spring and summer. If you want a reading, hit me up there. As soon as I get a little more settled in up here at the house, I'll probably be looking at doing more of the virtual readings, do them right on Zoom.
Excellent.
So, but if there's anyone that has to have a reading that needs one, I'm not going to tell you no. So your best bet is get a hold of me on Facebook or Messenger, and you know, I'm always here to help.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Same.
Same here. Yeah. People can get a hold of me on my website, christinabloom.com. There is a calendar that you can request a time for reading. It'll shoot me an email and then I'll confirm for you. Or you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. I don't know. I've lost track. Anyway,
Everywhere.
yeah, I do virtual readings. I do phone readings, and I am working on getting my calendar caught up. But my calendar is moving faster than I am at this point. So I have a lot of fun stuff coming up. I will be in the next 6 months. I'm going to be in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Appleton, Minnesota, Rhinelander.
Ooh.
So yeah, at the Pines Event Center. I think it's in
Cool.
March.
Well, give me a shout when you're around.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking to work at an event, I can put you in touch with those people too.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
So awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Ali, for joining us and
Thanks for having
coming out of your cave to do so. That was appreciated.
I had to drag her out.
me.
And
Well,
thank
thanks for
you,
bringing it up.
Rez. And we will see you all again next time. Take
Sounds
care.
good. Bye.
Bye-bye.